Um, Ladies and gentlemen, gentlemanly ladies, my LGBTQ family, what's happening? Where you at in the world? YouTubers, Facebook friends, and all the rest messing with me. What's happening? Where are you going? What you eating? What you drinking? When are you sleeping? What you listening? What's the music? What's that saying? Coffee with Dragon, a special edition of Coffee with Dragon. Pour yourself a cup of coffee. Welcome to the unedited, unscripted, although a little bit prepared, Gotta prepare. What am I gonna say? What am I gonna talk? I'm gonna post online. I gotta find something good, important to talk about. Well, there's something very, very important to talk about, and that is the appearance of Mr. Donald at the United Nations, of course, with his speech, of course, at the United Nations. Oy vey, ey Gewalt, verschmacht sie jeden nicht gewöhnt. That was a little bit of Yiddish. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Trump, of course, has appeared at the United Nations this week. And gave a speech. I've listened to his speech. My analysis of it, there was too much rhetoric, too much nationalism, and myself being a world citizen, as you can see, have the United Nations flag, and pretty much an LGBTQ world citizen, proud LGBTQ world citizen, who believes that we can achieve world order, that we must get together, transcend all antagonism, racism, bigotry, nationalism, and resort, and complement each other culturally, of course, financially, economically, that is, in commerce and politically. It's pretty much Donald Trump's vision. And I have to say that as an American, somebody who was an American twice in a past life, Donald Trump does not reflect America, the totality, the majority of American history, tradition, and destiny in a way. Because really the vision, the principles of the United Nations embodies for human rights and collective governance to maintain individual human rights and prosperity and peace and security is also an aspiration of the United States of America. So when the United Nations was founded on the 24th of October 1945, with those ideals and principles and people who got together after, of course, the Second World War, which was nationalism at its worst, right? Nazi Germany, where racist, nationalistic fascism, right? Of course, the vision of the founding members of the United Nations was not really achieved, right? So Donald Trump in his speech was something very antagonistic, very against what the United Nations, of course, stands, and of course America really stands for today and should stand as Americans, Canadians, citizens all over the world. So take that giant leap, that step forward in consciousness and society and ethics, so that we fight this countercurrent of nationalism and reemerging racism and intolerance and protectionism and trade wars. Fair trade, a trade war to make it for the rich. The rich already have enough wealth. They can absorb losses financially and economically. The majority of the people over indebted with debt, which has mounted and mounted and mounted since 1984. It is unsustainable. So Donald Trump put a too much nationalistic underpinnings, much patriotism. Let's have a more universal love. You know, myself as an LGBTQ community member feel that transcendence and that connection with LGBTQ people all over the world in their struggles, whether it's religious persecution or social persecution or financial oppression, suppression and discrimination, solidarity. Try to keep also, of course, a balanced, harmonious view rather than these anti-democratic and anti-international movements and worldviews and sentiments, of course. Sure, feelings, of course, we feel, we get passionate, we get emotional, myself included, about issues. Balance, harmony. What do you think about the United Nations speech? What do you think about the United Nations? Myself, when I was like 11 years old, imagining a future, myself today, at the age of 33, was envisioning a world federation, united, such as envisioned by many writers. I believe one of them was h.a.G. Wells, who wrote, of course, not his dystopian visions of a world, but a world at least in harmony, who works together, and less wars or no wars at all. I'm actually in favor of getting together and making a universal police state. What I mean by that is that we get together, we form a world governing body with an international police force for peacekeeping. But this is not just social theorizing, my own theorizing, but I've written much about it. But it's also should be an integrated force where the existing military forces join with the police security forces and the citizen. So citizens, military forces, and the existing police security forces together. Right? Citizens also, all citizens will have to be financed and active duty and traveling finance. You know, because so now we have the means, the capabilities. We need to finance. And so, have a integrated citizens and a volunteer basis, of course, but and something that's compensated financially. We want to use a universal world passport and a universal currency. And such. And I've written just in the past years, living a difficult period of time in my life. I've lived with poverty as a young adolescent, young child, of course. I've struggled with poverty, financial precariousness as I am today. I've written much theory about it, and many of my ideas I believe can be implemented. Starting today, doing more tomorrow, the coming days, weeks, and months ahead. For a new world order that's the world, nations, peoples, and tribes come together with a new consciousness, and we form a new race of mankind. The free race. When I was 11 years old, looking toward the future, a bright future we're seeing. 22 years later, it's getting worse financially, security, spiritually, also emotionally. I'm 33 years old today. World citizen, Montreal, Hawk Island, Canada. Of course, it's also a mindset that we must transform with our brothers and sisters of all the world, right? Myself speak many languages, wish could learn more. We can communicate together. We can communicate now with the technology, communications. Millennials, counting on you a lot. I'm a millennial myself, of course. We're the last generation. We can't afford to buy a house. We can't afford to do this. But many of us can, and there's the wealth gap, right? Sports people who make millions of dollars, and people who make tens of millions of dollars. Also, social economic inequality we must address. So back to the vision that I had as a young 11-year-old, seeing the future. Just today, at 33, 22 years later, world united at peace with a world governing body, with sponsored and financed travel between countries, internationally, between nations, food security, shelter, housing, secured and established as a right, as a human right, but also the rights have to be balanced by responsibilities of the citizen, individual citizens. So I was greatly disappointed. Of course, I'm not a supporter of Donald J. Trump. Many of you know that I'm challenging him to a boxing match on the Canadian-US border in a ring made of Canadian aluminum and steel. Yes, sir. In the Dragon versus Trump on Facebook, you can go check it out. So, opposing his policies, believe he could be a good entertainer and in entertainment maybe, but his policies of nationalism and patriotism and make America great is something that's of the past, brothers and sisters. It's of the past. It's hard to make deal with our past. We hold resentments against family, mother, father, brother, all sorts of psychological issues that are not entirely fixed, and they come in an age, myself included, come the rage, the anger, the repressed emotions, all the other Freudian stuff, right? So yeah. So I was disappointed. Now I'm going to change the subject and have a brief meditation on finance, and I'm going to wish a blessing of healing, recovering, and strengthening for my friends, allies, and supporters, for you to be healed physically and brainily, that is all the body, financially, and spiritually. Once again, bless all my friends, supporters, and allies with blessings of healing, recovery, and strengthening, financially, spiritually, and physically, and also, of course, brainily, mind, body, spirit. Bless all my supporters, allies, and friends with recovery, healing, and strengthening. spiritually, financially, and physically, including the brain. So mind, body, and spirit. If you work out with me, if you're my Facebook friend, start working out with me, do the dragon workouts. Let's heal mind, body, and spirit. So, ladies and gentlemen, on a lighter note, a movie review. Went to see Mamma Mia Part 2, a better than expected movie. Was rather impressed, and as a lover of music who loves universal music, all sorts of music, there's music. Probably I'm gonna shake my head, I'm gonna start dancing. So yeah, Mamma Mia, all-star cast, worth seeing, good dialogue, good laugh, good love. It's of course fundamentally a love story, exploring other themes as well, but go see it, give it a good 7.77 on 10. And went also to see Rich Crazy Asians, which loved. Was kind of my expectations were more than met, were excessively fulfilled. So I've loved the Crazy Rich Asians, of course, which explores a lot of themes. Predominantly the main theme is of course the class. What I mean by that is class, financial class, or economic class, if you will, the class relationship in terms of capital, if you will, or the rich and the poor, if you will. And of course within the rich there's strata. There's so rich, the medium rich, and the super rich, of which this was the theme of very rich people, super rich, and also within their circle the also distinctions, and of course the distinctions within the working class and the struggling class, middle class, kind of middle class, not necessarily because like that, but so very powerful. It also explored the cultural themes. Crazy Rich Asians, do recommend it, a good 7.7 for me. Have loved it. Sometimes you get emotional, especially since for some reasons it applies more to some than to others, but it's a great movie, great acting. Loved the humor, loved the feel to it, and loved a lot everything about it. It had of course its moments when it's like that expected jokes and corny like joking around and expected, but nonetheless it was a great flick. Don't want to give much away, but I'm saying that it got raw and pretty raw at times, of course, exploring the realities of when it's a love story, of course, it's the main theme, but it's a love story within that context of marrying different people from different worlds. Of course, this relates to finances, financial world, financially, and so that was the main theme of the movie. What I've really liked about it was that it blended beautifully the nuances, and it got down to earth with the depiction of the struggles that somebody has to go through in order to fight for love and to interact with, of course, the family of the super rich person. In this case is the man, the male actor, well, not the actor, but the male and the woman who comes from a poor background, and they're in love, and he's bringing the woman to see the family in Singapore. Singapore is a beautiful country, a nation, like a city state sort of about 5 million people, 6 maybe now. And of course, with them being very, very, very rich family of not just Singapore but throughout Asia. And for example, I'm going to give you one. Won't give you a lot of the dialogue, but at one point she gets asked. She, of course, being having struggled with poverty, and went to college, university. There, she met the rich family heir. She didn't know, of course, he was rich and all that. They fell in love. They met, and now she finds out that he is, of course, from a super rich family. And there's a scene where one of the family members, cousin or something like that, he asks her, "Oh, you're from the Chu family. You're Chu from the plastic industry, or you're from Chu from that industry, or you're Chu from that industry. Chu of China, Chu of Hong Kong, Chu of Indonesia," stuff like that. So he asks if she's part of those like three different Chu families who are well-known business families in different dominating, of course, or being big shots in different industries around Asia. And she answers no to each and every one of them, but he's like wondering what's going on. He was expecting her to be, when she said my name is Rachel Chu, she was expecting one of the Chu families that he knows, either from the banking, from plastic industry, or from tourism or something like that. I don't remember specifically what the industries were, but he asked at least three times if of different Chu families who were, of course, a rich family. So they're expecting her to be from a family, the house of rich, the house of wealthy, the house of finance. And of course, she's from no expected house, but she comes nonetheless. She's on her way, so she struggles, of course, and there's all sorts of intrigue, of course. So go see it. 7.7. Loved it. It's like I would see it again for sure. Definitely would see it again. Some very colorful, very beautiful acting too. Very beautiful actors. So yeah. And now something again on the lighter note, since we started with Mr. Trump. I've purchased brownies. I'm watching my diet, I'm working out, but once in a while, of course, I'm gonna have a little bit of treat. I'm gonna just work out more as one should. I'm already down 42.5 pounds since February 11th, so I'm working out, so have made some adjustments in my diet, and I'm recommending healthy eating for everybody and working out. Come work out with Dragan on Facebook. But these brownies, what was interesting about them was that they are product of, I'm just gonna show the background because I don't want to advertise anything like that. So bought them for $2 here in Montreal, Canada, and they are product of United Arab Emirates. Somebody who checks where the products come from, where they made, everything, of course, especially consumer goods, things that you eat, of course, as not just for fun but also for meditation and learning. Every day I'm learning. We can learn every day. So again, these brownies were product of United Arab Emirates, and that's a fascinating country which you do want to visit. The United Arab Emirates. They were okay. Brownies would have not, of course, expected to be from the United Arab Emirates. The brownies was expected either to be Canadian, American, but they are from, of course, the Middle East, the United Arab Emirates. They were okay. They were better than have expected. That's besides the point. The point is that I'm going to try to read about a country a little bit every time that I'm going to do a video from now on Coffee with Dragan, just for my own learning. And since we are citizens of the world, as we should, maybe we could do together a little reading. I'm taking suggestions, countries, states within the states, provinces of Canada, and or of course countries of the world. So we're going to use this beautiful tool which can be used for entertainment, folly, going a little bit cuckoo, or tweeting, Facebooking. That should be a verb. Facebooking. What are you doing? Facebooking. What are you up to? Tweeting. Huh? Googling. Alright. So, United Arab Emirates. The United Arab Emirates in Arabic. Dawla, do not speak Arabic. Will probably try to learn it a little bit, at least conversationally, tourist-wise, like for a tourist. Dawlat al-Imarat al-Arabiya al-Mutaddiya, sometimes simply called the Emirates, is a country in Western Asia at the southern end of the Arabian Peninsula on the Persian Gulf, bordering Oman to the east and Saudi Arabia to the south, as well as sharing maritime borders with Qatar to the west and Iran to the north. The sovereign absolute monarchy is a federation of 7 emirates, consisting of Abu Dhabi, which serves as the capital, Ajman, Dubai, Fujairah, Ras Al Khaimah, Sharjah, Al Quwain. Each emirate is governed by a ruler. Together they jointly form the Federal Supreme Council. One of the rulers serves as the President of the United Arab Emirates. In 2013, the United Arab Emirates population was 9.2 million, of which 1.2 million are Emirati citizens and 7.8 million are expatriates. I'm going to read that again. Think about that. That's a unique situation. Think about that. That's so unique. Listen to this. So in 2013, the United Arab Emirates population was 9.2 million, of which 1.4 million are Emirati citizens, that is, citizens of the United Arab Emirates, because a citizen is called an Emirati. And 7.8 million are expatriates, that is, people who go there for work, as migrants, usually for work, business, financial matters, cultural exchange, and the rest. So almost 5 times, almost 1-to-5 ratio. So almost 5 times more of the people living in the United Arab Emirates are what's called expatriates, basically immigrants, workers, business people who go there, people who visit or who stay with a residence for whatever motive. It could be business, could be cultural, entertainment, and so on and so forth. Now that's something. Let's read that again. In 2013, the United Arab Emirates population was 9.2 million, of which 1.4 million are Emirati citizens and 7.8 million are expatriates. Isn't that something? That's so unique. That ratio, believe that in the United Arab Emirates, the ratio of citizens and expatriates being 1 citizen to 5 expatriates, 5 times more immigrants in the United Arab Emirates than there are Emirati citizens, is a unique and by far a ratio surpassing all other countries, states, nation states of the world. Capital is Abu Dhabi. The largest city, of course, is Dubai. Dubai, the famous Dubai, where you have the Burj Dubai, the famous towers, and if you've seen a documentary or pictures, it really looks like a jewel, a beautiful jewel, just amazing. The official languages are Arabic. Ethnic groups are 12% Emirati, 27.8 Indian, 15.1 European, 10.2 Pakistani, 9.5 Bangladeshi, 6.1 Filipino, 2.2 Chinese, and 17.1 other. Religion is Islam, then is Emirati. Government is a federal absolute monarchy. So federal, of course, means that it's a federation of different states or entities, or could be provinces. In this case, an emirate is like something similar to a state in many ways. Similar, but not the same, of course. So government, federal absolute monarchy. So it's a federal absolute monarchy. President is Khalifa bin Zayed Al Nahyan. Prime Minister Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum. Legislature is a federal national council. Establishment from the United Kingdom and the Trucial States: Ras Al Khaimah 1708, Sharjah 1727, Abu Dhabi 1761, Ajman 1816, Dubai 1833, Fujairah 1952. Declared the independence or established its independence on the 2nd of December 1971. admitted to the United Nations on the 9th of December 1971, so 7 days after they declared independence, or that independence was allowed in many ways, or they self-declared their independence. Admission of Ras Al Khaimah to the United Arab Emirates on the 10th of February 1972. The area is a total of 83,600 square kilometers, or 32,300 square miles, so it's not a big place, right? It's not in terms of space, it's not that, it's a small. So population in 2018, and this is an estimate, was the 9,575,729, and the 93rd country in the world by population. In the 2005, just 13 years earlier, it was less than half than that. So a lot of people went there in the past 13 years. A lot of people migrated there in the past 13 years. And as a matter of fact, the population more than doubled. More than doubled. Because double of 4.1 million is 8.2, right? So more than double, since an estimate is now 9.5. So in 2005 it was 4,106,427. Density 99 per square kilometer, 256.4 per square mile, 110th. The GDP is 20 in the 2018 estimate, that is the estimate today, this year that is. Total is $716.173 billion. That's 32nd in the world. Per capita, this is very, very interesting. So per capita means basically the average of per capita per individual of working age, usually 18 and over, and it's of course an average per capita from the total population. So some might be lower than this number, some might be higher than this number, but this is an average per capita. $68,662,000 annually average income. That is the 7th highest per capita annual average income per year. That is super high, very, very big, bigger by a lot than my own country, Canada, of course. I'm going to repeat that number. Per capita is $68,662 and is the 7th in the world, according per capita, which that means that it's very, very, very high. It's in the top 10, 7th. So once again, per capita, $68,662,000, 7th in the world. GDP 2018 nominal, this nominal total is $411,827,000,000. And don't forget, 1 billion is 1,000 million. And per capita, this is the nominal, is less, and it's $39,483, but it's still top 20 in the 19th place. So that is a little bit about the United Arab Emirates, ladies and gentlemen, where we bought, of course, and we ate the brownies came from. So maybe this is a new idea, getting creative. Every time that I'm going to buy something to eat from a different country, maybe I'm going to read from that country. Of course, not so many countries, but you know what I'm saying. On the fitness note now, fitness, I'm getting fitter and working out. The diet. Work out with me. I'm going to work out in a few hours on Facebook Live. You can see it on World Citizens Gym. But it's another thing I wanted to discuss. And that is, I've received Monday in the mail a letter to get a credit card. So I've checked. Credit card, it was a Capital One MasterCard. I've checked, I've opened it, I opened the mail, see what's going on, what's the offer. I was offering a supposedly guaranteed acceptance of a credit card of a minimum between $300 and $7,000 maximum, right? Credit between $300 and $7,000. So I've made a calculation, and I'm gonna make that calculation with you because millennials and supposedly our citizen financial literacy is not adequate, has been going down since 1984, and of course we want it to increase because we are in debt, myself included. I'm actually have applied for jobs, I'm unemployed, working, of course. I'm a spiritual teacher, an aspiring social media bro, sis bro, and an artist, and a spiritual teacher, an artist, the world's greatest living poet. Now, serious business. So get the paper and say, hey, let's say, because on the paper, of course, and let me know if, of course, this is the majority of the United States, also Canada, across the world, it says the rate, the annual rate, but it does not show the actual number that you have to pay in interest, right? So you have to calculate it yourself, right? So this credit card was at 19.3%, right? So let's say you already have a maxed out. We know that the majority of the population is maxed out. Myself, financially, I'm struggling at the moment. I'm budgeting, started a budget right here. And we need to get our finances straight. Once again, blessings of healing, recovering, strengthening financially, spiritually, and physically, and also brainily to all my allies, supporters, and friends. So, ladies and gentlemen, 19.3, let's say I would have maxed out at $7,000. How we're going to calculate? Of course, before we do any decisions, we calculate that. So $7,000, let's say I would have taken it, I would have maxed it out in 3 months, 7,000. So we do 7,000 times, to get the percentage, we do 0.093. So 7,000, because 1 equals 100%. The unit of 1 is divided in 100. $1 is divided in 100 cents. Thus 1 is like 100%, represents 100% when you multiply, right? So 7,000 times, you can do the opposite in division, but we're doing the times, 0.193, right? And we get $1,351, right? 1,351. So that's the annual interest rate that you would have paid on if you would have maxed out, or people will max out with this credit card. Of course, that wasn't there on the paper. And not to mention, there was a fixed $56 annual fee. $56 annual fee is not so bad if it would have been just the fee. But at this interest rate, any interest that's more than 11% is freaking criminal. Interest should be below 10, be even below 7%. So $1,351. How much is that per month? Well, there's 12 months, so we will divide by 12 and we get this number. We get $112.58. Now let's say for me, my example, of course, myself now at the present moment in time, looking for employment, searching for a job, looking for work to make a business from my artistic, creative endeavors, initiatives, and creations, to finance my art. Have $385 minus in the bank, but have a protection, pay $4 a month to get a protection up to $500, which you should, so you don't pay that $37 or $42 fee. $4 a month is only 48 bucks. Yeah, 48 bucks per year to have that protection. So if you don't have it, you might, and you go under, of course you pay fees. It can be 37, 42, or up to, of course, more than that. So $112.58 interest paid per month on the maxed out on that credit card. If somebody takes it and they max out, they're gonna have to pay. And a lot of credit cards, some people have maxed out credit cards. A lot of us, the majority of us, have it. So per month paying that interest, what could have I paid for my expenses with this money? Well, I have a cell phone. My cell phone is $66 and like 60 cents or something. So minus that, I still get $45.98 left. I have another bill. I'm living with a friend, oftentimes teacher, sister, and we share the electricity. It's usually around 50. On a winter it can go up to 60. Maximum it was like 60, 61 or so maximum. So let's say average, let's say 60. So 60 divided by 2 is 30. So minus 30. I still have left $15.98. So I paid two bills. I paid my cell phone bill, paid my electricity bill, and I still have 15. So this is money for me to go eat out, buy groceries for 3 days, buy a pound of chicken, buy a bread, buy eggs, buy some biscuits, right? $5 for a pound of $5 for the eggs. Maybe even groceries for 3 days. Eat a breakfast at McDonald's 3 times, or healthy breakfast somewhere else. So still got some money left over. That would have been wasted on paying interest. Heal, recover, rise, spiritually, physically, financially, starting now.